The April 27th, 2023 meeting of Langston County Board of Supervisors to order. Let us stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We're going to have the public input session now. Getting ready to open that up. And you have 3 minutes to speak on anything that's not on the agenda that you want to talk about. But you have 3 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, I will hold the sign up and then letting you know that you have 1 more minute to go. Thank you. Public input session is now open. Anyone wants to speak? Anyone online?
Wow.
All right, thank you. All right, public input section is now closed. VDOT?
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's good to be with you all. Is this on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you might have to, get kind of close to it.
All right. Good evening. I'm going to go over my report first, and then we'll hit the secondary six-year plan work session. We've gotten a lot of work done. We've been cutting brush on various routes throughout the county. We swept all the curb and gutter. We've done some sidewalk and concrete repairs in Irvington and Kilmarnock. We've been cleaning ditches and cleaning pipes throughout the county as well. We have some asphalt patching planned, some 500-foot patches on various routes. That'll start the first week of May. We've removed some vegetation at the Norris. Mr. Bellows isn't here tonight, but we got some more work to do out there to continue to clean that up. And we're going to continue to clean some pipes, and we have a couple pipes to replace on Shady Lane and Cherry Point Road. The pavement schedule, most of that work is still, we're still waiting for those contractors to get here. The latex schedule is underway. Secondary six-year plan, I have that still listed as summer 2025 for Davis Mill. We may get to that fiscal year. 24 starts in July of this year, so we may get to that later this fall. Smart scale projects are moving along. Really nothing else, no other changes to report on my monthly report, unless you all have any questions for me.
All right, gentlemen, you have any questions, comments? Okay, it's quick for you today.
But he's got the secondary six-year plan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's right.
Does Mr. Lee have a question?
No.
Well, do you want to do this first or you want?
Oh, it's up to you.
A few years back, I addressed a problem with Route 200 Irvington Road, right there at the ballpark, trying to get the speed changed. But there was another accident there this week. So I'd like for y'all to take another look at that, especially now that the school is going down there in that area. And one of the things that, to me, is be simple, is having a no passing zone there. Because there is a broken line when you're leaving Kilmarnock going to Irvington. And because people can speed up right there, before you know it, you're right up on the ballpark. So if that was a solid line, that would be, that would help some like that. But changing the speed limit to 45, anything like that would help. But it was a few years back I had brought this up, that to see if we could do anything in that area with the dream field.
Right, I remember talking about it before. Do you know when the planned opening of the school is?
August 20 and 25.
Okay, I'll make everybody aware of that, and we'll look at it again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll move into the secondary six-year plan. All right, this is the secondary six-year plan. The secondary routes are all the routes numbered 600 and above, so it's not the primary routes. It is a six-year plan, so fiscal year 24 through 29. You can see there the county receives a little over $30,000 a year, and that's split between what we call telefees and the district grant for unpaved roads. Telefees can be spent, the telefee money can be spent on most any kind of improvement you want to make. The district grant unpaved road funds, which you can see there isn't much of that, that has to be spent on hard surfacing existing state-maintained gravel roads. The next slide.
I'm
this-
sorry, could I ask, if you don't use it, do you lose it?
No, it rolls over, but you need to prioritize it. They like to see it allocated towards something. I guess the answer is yes and no. If you don't use it soon enough, then they could pull it. But if you wanted to, wait a year or two and let some funds accumulate, there's not a problem with that. But if you went 6 or 7 years without using it, they're gonna start to ask questions. So this slide, currently, Davis Mill Road is the only road that's in the only project that's in the secondary 6-year plan. We have about $100,000 budget to hard surface a portion of that. It's not the entirety of it. If you're familiar with that route, there's a logging entrance west of the dam on that pond, on that mill pond, and that's about where we would stop with that funding. It's about 1/4 of a mile that's allocated for that $100,000. That next line item is the countywide engineering and survey. That's kind of just where we park all the money until you allocate it for a project. We do like to keep about $25,000 in that line item, which means there's about $150,000 there for you to prioritize something. If we are able to build Davis Mill this year, since that funding becomes available July 1st of 2023, if we can get that done this fall, it would be nice to have something in the works or on the horizon, so that next spring we know what we're going to do for Lancaster County, whether that's continue Davis Mill on, do another portion of it, or something else. If you all have something else in mind, if you want to wait and try to let a little more funding build up, that's okay too. Now we can move to the next slide. This is the program that we hard surface existing state-maintained gravel roads with. It's called the Rural Rustic program. These roads have to already be in the state system. They can't carry more than 1,500 vehicles per day, which you'll see on the next slide. You're nowhere near 100 vehicles a day on any of the roads. It does have to be listed as a priority line item, like you saw Davis Mill in the plan. Has to be predominantly for local traffic, so if you're aware of a rezoning or some land use change along one of these roads, you need to consider that before you consider a road for the Rural Rustic program. And then drainage just has to have, minor drainage improvements that would be made with our state forces when we do that improvement. The next page, this shows all of your existing state-maintained gravel roads. You can see Davis Mill, there's a portion of that that's in the secondary 6-year plan. All of those roads, based on our 2021 count, have less than 50 vehicles per day, which is why your unpaved road funding is so low. You all have done a good job to minimize the amount of gravel roads and the traffic on that. So relatively speaking, throughout the Northern Neck, your list is fairly small as to what you have left as far as gravel roads that the state maintains. I was talking with Mr. Gill a little bit before the meeting. There's some roads in there that are listed there. They're really not a lot of benefit in doing much with. A couple little cul-de-sacs, a couple little stubs. Field trial is kind of the elephant in the room. It's 3 miles long. It would take years to build up enough funding in the program based on current allocations to knock that out. But, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. So, we could start working on that. Or if you want to prioritize more of Davis Mill, we could try to get that knocked out. But it's really up to the board as to what you want us to work on.
How about, we have some water access and some parks coming into play in the near future. Are we, do we need to think about maybe right-of-ways or turning lanes or things like that? Would that fall in this project?
Yes, so any improvement, I use maintenance funds to patch potholes, cut grass, do that type of work, but I can't buy right away. So if you needed to widen a road, to put in a turn lane, or you needed to buy a drainage easement or something like that, these funds could be used for that. If you have a project that you know is coming up that you need to improve the access for, put in a turn lane or
I'm
something along
thinking
those
maybe
lines.
Taylor's Creek with the workforce housing and then the park there. I see that, I hope it's busy. I hope we have people that will be going there.
Well, that's off of 222, so you would not be able to use these funds on 222, would you?
Is the access directly off of it?
It is.
It is.
I'll double check. It is a secondary 6-year plan. I know we can use, let me double check. I think you can use secondary money on primaries. You can't use primary money on secondaries, but I'll double check.
Well, we'd also have maybe at Carter's Cove, you know, we've got a 90-degree turn right there, and
Yeah.
that is a, I can't recall what the route number is, but I believe that's a 600 number.
So would you be looking to build an entrance to the facility or like a right turn lane?
I think we might be looking at a turn lane,
Turning
maybe,
lane, yeah.
possibly. Yes.
I would just add there, we've also got somewhat of a turning onto Carter Cove off of John's Neck.
Yeah.
There's a huge dip there that's gonna be a problem for boat trailers because of that dip. That hill needs to be shaped just a little bit, maybe 50 feet.
Yeah.
That would be one bill that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grade that out, down and up, shape that Carter Cove one.
Yeah, that's a
We're
good point.
gonna spend your money. We can take care of it.
With the funding that we have per year, realistically, what are we looking at in tenths of a mile under this program? Is it like maybe 2/10 or 3/10 a year?
Yeah, we estimated, it'd be about 4/10.
4/10.
If you spent $150,000, if you leave 25 in the countywide and you spend 150, somewhere around 4/10. We
Okay.
might be able to stretch it to half a mile.
Okay,
If we went back on Davis Mill, there's kind of we're already there working.
right.
You know, so you might get some savings there. And a lot of it just depends on how much drainage work, how much ditching we have to do. Somewhere in there, 3/4. I think we did 1/4 of a mile, or 0.23 tenths. 0.23 was estimated at 100,000. Is what's already in the plan, so
Okay.
150,000, maybe 4/10.
Well, the board would need to hold a public hearing on this next month, correct?
That's right.
So we've got a month to think about this and then maybe have some better suggestions at the May meeting during the public hearing as well.
And I'd be happy to look at those projects you suggested.
Yeah.
I can give you some thoughts on what I think we could do or couldn't do.
Yeah, and that's a pretty straight stretch, and it's 55, and when you
Yeah.
make the turn at Gaskins, headed to Weems, people are picking up speed, and then if someone's stopping to make a turn, I can see a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can get you those route numbers on the Carter's Cove. If they don't automatically come to your mind, I know you've got, 5 counties to deal with?
So we'll go ahead and plan to do the advertisement for a public hearing at the May meeting,
Yeah, that'd be fine.
and I'll send that to you for review before we send it out.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Okay. That's it.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have presentations. First one is a resolution recognizing Lancaster County Sheriff Office K-9 Deputy Augie. And we're going to have Mr. Smith to read the resolution, then we're gonna vote on it, and then I'm gonna ask Mr. Smith to present it.
All right, so why are you asking me to do this? Because I am the older brother, and it's only fitting that I do this. So when we were kids, we would play cops and robbers on our bicycles, and Jimmy was always the cop, and I was always the robber. And things haven't changed much. I knew Augie. Augie was a good dog. I never got to touch Augie, but Augie touched me a few times. This is a resolution recognizing K-9 Deputy Augie. Whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie was I don't speak French, so help me out here, a Bouvier Flanders? What? No, I want to hear you say it. A dog breed that originated from Flanders, Belgium, and was primarily used for general farm work, including cattle driving, sheep herding, and cart pulling, before the breed was adapted to guard and police work. And whereas Augie became a member of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in August 2014 and was assigned to Lieutenant James Smith, and whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie and Lieutenant Smith began formal training in January 2015 with the Newport News Police K-9 Division and completed 4 months of narcotics detection training and were certified by Virginia Police Work Dog Association. And whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie completed a detector dog search final test, which included a large office complex, 10 vehicle, and 104 locker searches, and Augie found all hidden narcotics. And whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie had 43 call-outs, resulting in positive alerts and narcotics fines for Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, Northumberland County Sheriff's Office, and Richmond County Sheriff's Office. And whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie also conducted 35 demonstrations for schools, job fairs, and various organizations, special functions, and whereas Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie, after almost 9 years of service to the county, recently lost a battle with cancer and had to be euthanized. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Lancaster County hereby recognizes the exemplary service of Lancaster County Sheriff's Office K-9 Deputy Augie and commends Lieutenant James Smith for teaming with Augie to provide outstanding K-9 services for Lancaster County. Adopted this 27th day of April 2023.
Gentlemen, you've heard the resolution. All in favor, say aye. Adopted?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous vote here for, okay. Mr. Deputy Lieutenant Smith? Thank you and Augie for the good work you did for Lancaster County.
Thank you so much.
All right. Broadband Authority update. This is Cassie Thompson.
Okay, as I address this austere board, just to give you some updates. You laugh about it. The AP Dominion project status. Tom Innes, Vice President and Business Developer, All Points Broadband, APB, attended our meeting on April 13th, provide an update on the project. The good news is Dominion was ahead of schedule, therefore the project is ahead of schedule, and they predict that it'll probably be completed prior to December 2023. That was the date, and they think they can do it ahead of time. So it's moving, which is good. And they'll notify all customers 90 days in advance of when service will be available in their area. The Breeze Line Batty project status. The Batty project grant is completed. I and Kevin attended the luncheon, the Batty luncheon, on Monday. And all 4 counties were invited to this to celebrate the completion of the project. So that's 315 residents in Lancaster County now have access to broadband. The CARES Act fixed wireless project status. Broadband Telecom Service, BTS, has enrolled 285 customers and all service is available and is steady, and so far, no complaints. Going down to about FCC broadband availability map. For residents who want to secure broadband funding for their locations, if people want to know what is available in their locations, they can look at the FCC map. FCC in the past has had a horrendous map. It's improved. They're working to improve it. So people can go online to find the availability of locations in their area. Now, instead of standing here and giving all the sites they can go to, it's on our website. So people can go to the LCBA website and find all the what addresses they can search for in the FCC map to see where their location is and to see if they are in there in case FCC left somebody out. And there's instruction in FCC video of how to use the website. Last thing, effective end of this month, which is Sunday, I am resigning as chair, resigning from the LCBA. I have to admit, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Lancaster, and I have the greatest admiration for this board, which has really been very supportive of the authority. You never said no. You asked questions. In the end, you agreed with us, and I thank you very much on behalf of the authority up to this point, and I know they're going to see exactly how well you support the authority going on. The authority, the 4 remaining, and as you see in the minutes, in the monthly report, we have another individual who will take up the last vacancy on the authority. His resume is attached. We highly recommend him. We interviewed him. He has very good technical skills, wonderful personality, very communicative. So we hope that you will approve his nomination to the board. And I also want to say thank you to past and present authority members. The current board, if you would appreciate, accept Mr. Kidd, is a fantastic board. This authority will go way beyond what we started, more than we ever hoped we could accomplish, and have such wonderful people on the board. I keep saying the board, the authority. So I hope you'll continue to appreciate what they do and the work they do, as I appreciated what you've done since I've been on it. 5 years is a long time. I've aged. As I was saying to Craig, this gray hair came with my duty on the authority. Especially working with Don. He wanted my hair to match his. But I'm going to miss you guys. I really am. You've become more than just the Board of Supervisors. You too, Jim. I can't help but thank Glenn a lot for all the support he gave us and all the technical questions when we did work to get the maps out. He was utterly fantastic. If you guys don't give him a raise, I'll come back and haunt you. I can't say enough about Crystal. She's always been responsive. Anything we asked, she said, I'll find out, or she was able to turn it around, and so appreciated what you've done. I know the board, the rest of the authority appreciates it too. And to each of you, thank you. It's been great. And I wish you the best. I'll still be around.
Yeah.
I'll still be around. Take care.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
take care of it.
I would just like to add that the other directors of the authority wanted to all be here, but for various schedule reasons, they couldn't. So on their behalf, I would like to thank Cassie for her excellent leadership. She really drove getting this comprehensive group together of different people with different talents to put together a real strategy for implementing broadband that was something that was affordable for the county and to maximize the federal money that was going in. And we still have work to do, but under her leadership, I just wanted to point out that by the end of this year, 2,641 previously unserved residents will have high-speed internet. And so thank you, Cassie. And we also want to thank you for your friendship, because you formed this great team, but as you can see how wonderful she is, and you know how wonderful she is, we think so too. And we've formed great friendships with her. And I have a little gift for her that I checked with Jim to make sure it was okay that I gave it to her here, because I asked the other directors, well, what kind of little gift could we give Cassie? And everybody agreed Well, Cassie likes champagne. Thank you, Cassie, and thank all of you. I don't know. I didn't even wrap it.
You're gonna get your picture taken. With the champagne.
I'll leave that, somebody will come to my house one at a
Cassie, every time I Google, I will think of you. You are the reason.
Cassie, thank you for service. I enjoyed working with you for a little over last year, and it was a pleasure the whole time working with you. So good luck in your future.
And cheers.
Well, you have my address. I have 8 more bottles at home.
You might find out we meet at your house, right?
Make sure you're not driving.
And we'll Uber home.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to make a motion?
Oh,
to
yes,
appoint
thank you.
Kidd
Uh,
to the authority?
Gentlemen, I move that we appoint Keith Kidd to the Broadband Authority. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's 4 in favor there, okay, we passed. All right, Mr. Kidd is now our member. Okay, thank you.
Or will be as of Monday.
May
As of
1st.
May 1st, that's right, and amend that to as of May 1st, 2023. Okay. School construction update.
Just got a few slides for you to give you a quick update on where we stand with the elementary school project. Go to the next slide, Glenn. Again, we always go back to this initial slide, give you an idea of where we're working, where students are. We're primarily working in areas 1, 6, and 5. Within the school, students are in areas 3, 4, and 7. There's a few students in area 2, but not too many. And that just gives you an idea where most of the next few slides you'll see are concentrated on. Go ahead. So this is a picture taken probably about 2 weeks ago. It's inside the new administration part. So this is where the new front office will be at the school. This is one of the classrooms, kindergarten classrooms. They've made some progress, in the past few weeks. The drop ceilings are in place and some painting on the walls. You can see the HVAC equipment's been installed. This was sort of a big moment for us because it saved some steps as we walk through the building. This is, as you enter the new entry to the school, the auditorium sort of through the set of doors on the left-hand side. One of the big advantages with the remodel of the school are the sight lines within the school. And that's primarily what this picture was given to show you how you can, from the new admin section, you can see all the way past the auditorium, the clear lines of sight. So this is in the old admin area. I believe a couple months ago I was, showing some pictures of the demolition that was taking place. You can see all the shoring that's had to go back in since the walls were taken down. What we're showing here is the new, basically a 4x4 steel post that's been put in place as the new shoring. We've got a few more things to do before the extra shoring can be taken out of this area. And once that takes place, we'll be able to press pretty hard in this area. Be 2 more kindergarten classrooms primarily where the old offices used to be in the school. This is down the old 4th grade wing of the school. We have run into some issues with the ceiling. We're working with Brett and the inspector to clear up some items that we have through there. This is one of the old wings of the school. This was actually part of the old elementary school. I guess it was part of the initial high school that was at the building. So this particular wing's been there for a while. And, but you can see in this picture, also shows a new LED lighting that's been installed. The drop ceilings are in place, and work is progressing down this hallway. These are back over to the side of the school that the students are in right now. Over the spring break, the contractors were able to go back over to that side of the building and complete some of the work that was taking place. These just shows one of the breakout spaces that's in the room down the hallway. These are some of the areas where old lockers were in the corridors. They took the lockers out. We've got wide corridors for a school, and the teachers will be able to use these spaces as what they call breakout spaces and pull students out and do some more one-on-one individual attention.
What do they use for lockers now?
So just what we've come to recognize is the students weren't using the lockers in the building.
Trash.
And, yeah, so most of the lockers have been taken out. We will have lockers in what will be the sixth grade wing of the building, Mr. Palin, kind of to get the students used to using lockers before they, go to the new high school. And even with the new high school, the lockers will be limited. It won't be like, when I went to school where everybody was sort of assigned a locker. Students are, with Chromebooks and that sort of thing, the book bag is a thing to pass. And that's another point to it, is the book bags that they do carry couldn't fit in the locker that we had. So that was one of the reasons they weren't being used very much.
I think most of the schools we visited during that period, when we was going around, none of them had lockers. They didn't put lockers in them. So.
But there will be lockers available for the sixth graders, and, that's something we're talking with, that there will be some lockers available in the new high school for students, but there won't be lockers for every student that's there.
That floor there, I might, on that previous slide, that's the redone floor. I mean, it's the terrazzo, but it's
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah, and that's sort of proven its
Yeah.
point. Before I even got involved with the project, I heard about how important it was to Jason with the terrazzo flooring in the schools, and they've sort of proven themselves through this project. Basically, what they've done is they've come back and taken, imagine like shaved almost a real thin layer of that floor off with the machinery, and it's essentially a new floor, and it's in really good shape. It's held up very well. We've got some places, because we ripped lockers out and done some of the work in the classrooms with the unit ventilators, there's some places that we need to touch up. It's very hard to tell. You can tell some of those areas, if you walk through the school, but you really got to kind of point it out to people. It's hard to tell just walking into space. Again, this just shows a display board that they installed over spring break, and just gives you a sense of, how the finished look will be once we get completed.
Is that electronic, or is that just a whole?
That's just it's just a
paperwork?
old, it's just a regular display board. This picture, we took this to show the new LED lighting in the classrooms. We've been waiting on the lights for quite some time. They showed up in February in bulk, but we kind of wanted to wait until spring break when the students were out of the classroom. One of the issues that we're having right now, it's really not an issue, but it's a controls issue, and I believe the next slide will show what the controls are. Right now, the lights are either on or off. We do have these sensors that are going in the class, so it won't be the old switch on the wall. They'll be able to have 4 preset, places for the lights to be in the classroom, and also the ability to dim the lights. If you walk through the school, it's been interesting for me. If you walk through the school during class, when the classes are in, a lot of the teachers like the lights dim in the classroom. It helps keep the students calm. They just like that calming effect. And so I think that a few of them are upset at me with the new LED lights because they're very bright. But once we get these controls in, I think they'll be happy with me again. But yeah, that was just to show you what those are. This picture was just taken to show some of the site work. William Wells is cleaning up some of the area. You can probably tell from the road if you drive by. The topsoil is going in. In the next few weeks, you'll start seeing sod, seed put down. So they're starting to dress up the area. You can tell on this picture, one thing we were trying to hope to do over the spring break was get the road paved. The weather didn't cooperate with us very well on that, so we just decided to wait till school was out. Got about 4 more weeks. So we're going to wait till the students are out of the building and get into the paving. Again, another picture just shows some of the landscape lighting, new LED landscape lighting, and the fact that some of this grass has started coming up on us, so we're having to maintain some of these areas. It's a little difficult because you can't really run the lawnmower through some of these areas right now with all the construction still happening, but we're trying to stay on top of it as best we can. You'll also notice in this picture the outside of the building, we're getting real close to being able to block it, and I think that'll be a big milestone for the building because you'll get a real sense of how the building's going to look once it's finished. You should see that happening over the next month or so. Quick update, this is the Conkle property. This is right across from the Lewis Service Center on Route 200. This is a new high school site. This particular home had asbestos on the siding. It's just showing some of that work. We had that asbestos removed from the house and had that taken care of properly. And the next slide shows how the house has been removed. We were able to work with Ranson's, and he was able to get those out of the way. This just frees up some of the space for, when we start to work towards the new high school. There is an existing well and a septic on site, and I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be in their interest to use that for like their construction trailer while they're there. So we're not going to do anything with that quite yet, but we may end up, just demolishing that as well. Any questions on the project?
Any questions, gentlemen?
No, looks good, thank
No?
you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
Okay, we're getting ready to move into the public hearing section. Mr. Gill?
Mr. Chairman, your public hearing tonight deals with the proposed FY24 budget. And I was trying to get my laptop to show the synopsis page so I could put it on the screen. But for some reason, it won't bring it up. I can't put it on the screen apparently, but you've had 5 previous budget work sessions working on the FY24 budget. The overall budget contains 4 new full-time positions for county government. One of those is a full-time recreation coordinator position. Another is a full-time assistant IT director. And there it came up right there. And another one is a full-time building inspector. And the 4th is a full-time maintenance assistant. And there's also a part-time prosecutor position under the Commonwealth Attorney's budget. But that's basically a wash with the way he managed his budget with the new hire of a new victim witness director, and then moving his existing part-time budget money into this new part-time prosecutor position. So there is 4 full-time new positions in this budget. Your last budget work session, you all decided to consider giving the Board of Supervisors an increase in the annual compensation, which had not been done since 2000. And we included that in the advertisement that was in the Rappahannock Record. After going through the budget, and I spoke with Mr. Lee about this today, we didn't address the boards and commissions that meet as well: Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, Wetlands Board, and next year with the Board of Equalization. Their compensation has not been adjusted since 2000 as well. So currently they get $100 per meeting. I would ask that the board consider doubling that to $200 per meeting. If you choose to do that, the effect on the overall budget would be a total of $25,300. But the compensation increase for the Board of Supervisors cannot take effect until January 1 of '24. The entire year's worth is written into the budget. So if you subtract half of that from the $25,000 that would be associated with the additional boards and commissions, the net overall increase to this budget by doubling those additional boards and commission salaries would be $14,600. So it's it's a very minimal increase to the overall budget. I think it's long overdue, just like I think, adjusting the Board of Supervisors compensation is long overdue. I was wondering if anybody was going to speak tonight, and I was going to do this as a demonstration, but all of our meeting materials now are electronic, and they're, you pull them up online and look, but if you printed everything off, this is one meeting worth, right here. And this board holds about 20 meetings a year. And so if you multiply this by 20, you see what the board has to absorb, usually getting this a week ahead of time to be prepared for the meeting. And that doesn't include the budget. The budget is right here. This is the budget as well. So just a little visual to try to drive home the point that, y'all's jobs and the jobs of our other boards and commissions have not gotten easier or less demanding over the years. They're much more demanding, and so I think the increase for the board is very well justified, and I hope that you all would agree that increasing these boards and commissions monthly or meeting stipends would be justified as well. And you're not going to take any action on your board, on the budget tonight. State code requires that you wait at least 7 days after the public hearing before you adopt a budget with or without modification. And you had previously scheduled your regular May meeting, I think it's May 25th, at 7 p.m. as the date and time that you would adopt the FY24 budget. This budget is built using existing tax rates. No tax increases are anticipated. You all set your tax rates by ordinance. We have to advertise an ordinance public hearing for 2 weeks. So that's why the public hearing on the tax rate ordinance is not tonight. The public hearing for your tax rate ordinance will be at your May meeting. You can adopt the ordinance right after your public hearing at that May meeting. But again, this budget is built on no increase in tax rates. It does show that proposed at the end of FY24 that our fund balance would be diminished by 1.6 million, but as we talked about at the April 13th work session, that number is skewed because the general property taxes, mainly personal property taxes collected in FY23, exceeded our budgeted amount, which this is the budgeted amount, exceeded our budgeted amount by a little over $1 million. So this figure here is going to be at least $1 million more when the audit is done for FY23. So that 1.6 is not as daunting as it looks. It's if you add that million to that, you're probably looking at a $600,000 shortfall on the fund balance. And as you all know, typically over the past several years, we have underestimated our revenues and overestimated our expenditures. And if we're fortunate enough to continue that, then this may not be affected at all in FY24. So you had a work session on April 13th, went over the capital improvement budget as well. The capital improvement budget contains $30.7 million for FY24, but 24 of that was in the new school project, which has already been funded. Funding is secured for that. And $5 million was for public access site development, and that funding has been secured as well. So once you subtract out that $29 million, you're looking at $1.7 million in your capital improvement budget. And as we talked about on April 13th, this $1 million for the P25 digital radio upgrade is not a given that it's going to occur in FY24. It may actually happen more so in FY25. So We talked about handling the capital improvement budget expense through the general fund. So, I'll be happy to answer any questions before you open up the public hearing, and
Any
That's
questions,
So with
comments?
the, I think, we did talk earlier, with the pay raise for the commissioners and committees, our budget would be,
it would add $14,600 to the total expenditures and decrease the fund balance by another $14,600.
I don't have a problem with that.
no,
No.
I don't need.
Okay. All right. Anything else before I open up the meeting to the public hearing? I'm gonna open up.
Don, do you sign up sheet?
Yes.
All right.
I'm not sure if anybody signed up. We got one, and Charlie came in late, so I know he wants to speak.
Okay, the public hearing is now open. Again, you have 3 minutes to speak. At the end of 2 minutes, I will raise the sign, so letting you know you have 1 minute left. All right, Mr. Julian?
Good evening,
Good evening.
Supervisors. I'm Bruce Julian. I live in Bill Smith's District 5. I chair the Public Access Work Group to the Board of Supervisors, also a member of the Wetlands Board. A while back, one supervisor on this board got a bit riled up one evening. When are we going to quit talking, and when are we going to start doing, is what he said. Well, I can report that with your support, the combined with the county staff aggressive action, coupled with the physical support, financial support, the goals and objectives of Chapter 5 of the Comprehensive Plan to access state waters are being achieved. Planning and talking is always easy. Implementing is much more difficult. However, I do see a problem on the horizon, Bill. We're going to implement, in a few years, completely Chapter 5. So I guess it's just going to be blank.
Some
Mike?
problems are good.
Yeah, that's a good problem. I strongly support the funding provided in the proposed FY '24 budget to implement the access to public waters actions, ensuring that all citizens and visitors can enjoy the natural resources of the watershed. I want to thank Don Gill and his staff for their exceptional support to these activities and our shared efforts. There's another saying that I'd like to share with you, and it says, for all the hay you mow down, you better make sure you got enough hay balers. And that's why I support the additional county staff to make sure we got enough balers, because we're mowing hay. And I know that I irritate some people sometime being an urgent person, but we need to get things rolling. Bill, I think you'll agree with that too. So it's critically important that we have enough balers. Outcomes are better than talk, but I'm sure happy when folks get riled up in this county to make it better for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all that you do. Yep. Okay. Mr. Costello?
Yeah.
Mr. Costello, okay, go ahead.
That's okay.
It's all right.
Because I didn't think I'd be making a public comment. But after hearing Don, I did want to make a comment. And so I'm Michelle Craddock, and I am on the Broadband Authority, but we're a volunteer board, so I don't feel like it's a conflict of interest for me to speak. And I know with boards of directors, it's often awkward because you have to vote for your own raise, but you're the only people who can do that. I would just like to point out that you're not just voting for your own raise, you're also leaving the county in a good place, because if you haven't had a raise since 2020, I mean, what is inflation?
2000.
Oh, 2000. And
Yes.
what has inflation been,
Yeah.
since then? I don't even know that number. But it's really important to have some kind of adequate pay, and that's probably not even adequate pay, because now that I've been on the Broadband Authority, I see the tremendous amount of work that you do, and the time, I can't imagine, not even just getting ready for these meetings, but responding to, questions that your constituents have, and I mean, it's just amazing, the work that you do, and I thank you. But it's very important that you think of attracting other qualified people in the future to want to serve in these county leadership positions. And so I just wanted to point out that that's another reason. So you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for the county, really, to attract qualified people to these leadership positions. So I thank you very much, and I'm very much in support of the raises for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Can
Okay.
I respond?
Yes.
So I was reluctant to give a pay increase because you're right, you never want to do that. Last night at the VACO get-together, I had the privilege of sitting next to a supervisor from Fairfax County. And even with her pay increase, we're making $115,000 per year less than they are.
Because we got 220,000 less people.
You didn't have to say that.
I'd rather have our pay.
Well, echoing what she said, this is what I want to do, and that's why I came up here, even though I was late coming in. I like to have heard the broadband, because I have concerns about that in my area. I forgot that you guys haven't had this pay raise, and I support it fully. You really do. And people don't see all the work. It's not just the meetings, it's people that call you, people that you have to go to, the other commissions that you work on. There's a lot of things to being a supervisor. And you've done well. We've had some differences in the past, certain people, but I think you're doing a better job now, and things are cooking. We're bringing into the 21st century, finally, and it's a good thing. As far as the funding, you stay in the same rate. Nobody can argue with it, not even certain people that will always come up and tell you that things shouldn't be done. But they never show up to do anything, as far as I know. And, but when you get your new assessment, I hope that, when's that gonna be finished, Don? When do we expect it? to get that out?
You'll get those in the mail, end of October, 1st of November.
So then we have all that and going through it. But the funding will be there. And I was meeting with other people, and they all, we came here. Most of us came here, one thing, another. And we have a great place, and it's getting better all the time. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Anyone online? No, sir. All right. Okay. Public hearing is now closed. All right. Can I hear a motion for the consensus docket?
So moved.
All right, you heard a motion to accept the consensus docket. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all here is voted. All right, we're moving on to the consideration docket. Salaries and invoices.
Mr. Chairman, let me get straight here. Make a motion that we approve the total invoices of $1,392,148.78. Payroll being $368,699.39. Capital improvement, $557,401.33. ARPA, $155,322.05. Total expenses, $1,760,848.17.
All right, you heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous vote here. Okay. Next one is ARPA. funding request.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Lee just read the ARPA expenses for April, and part of that, the vast majority of that, is for the local match required by Lancaster for the VATI grant that we were fortunate enough to be awarded with, along with Matthews, Middlesex, and Caroline counties, and Breeze Line. As you know from prior months' Broadband Authority's updates, Breeze Line made very good progress with this grant, and they have recently completed that work. The Broadband Authority has reviewed it and authorized payment of this final invoice. The total local match was $231,600. We paid 2 installments of that previously using Broadband Authority budgeted and appropriated funds, but this last payment, the remaining balance of $153,756.47, was not budgeted in the annual budgets. So I'm asking that you approve this ARPA funding request for that amount.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard that request, so I move that we approve this funding. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's a unanimous vote. Okay. Mr. Gill?
Mr. Chairman, the last request is an ARPA request. You've heard several of these over the past year or so from various organizations. This one tonight comes from the Kilmarnock Volunteer Fire Department, and I know we have a representative here tonight for them. And Chief Smith put this memo together, but basically, and he can answer any questions if you'd like, but basically the Cascade system, which is the pressurized compressed air that fills the air bottles that the firefighters use when they go in buildings and gives them air to breathe. That system went down and at Kilmarnock's building. Upper Lancaster has one, Whitestone has one as well, these Cascade systems, but each department needs their own to have the bottles that they need when the fire calls come in. Replacing that system is a little over $65,000, and I know that the town of Irvington has committed $10,000 to the Kilmarnock Fire Department to help with that, and I know the town of Kilmarnock is considering a donation as well. And what Matt and Kilmarnock Fire Department have come up with is they're asking for a one-time donation of $30,000 from the ARPA money to help Kilmarnock Fire Department replace that Cascade system.
Okay. Gentlemen, you've heard it. Any questions, comments? All right.
Questions?
Got a motion?
I move that we accept this request as presented.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous vote there, all right. All right, any board reports? No board reports. All right, administrative report.
Mr. Chairman, you'll see sitting next to me is Olivia Hall. She's our current Environmental Codes Compliance Officer, but as of Monday, she'll be our Director of Planning and Land Use after the previous Director of Planning and Land Use, Bill Farrell, has moved on to a full-time position with Kilmarnock Police Department. So Olivia is here tonight. She's going to do a great job for us during this past week. She's been getting her feet wet with a lot of zoning issues and plans, and we've been going over a lot of those together, so she can get a good feel for that. And we've also advertised for her previous job replacement, the Environmental Codes Compliance Officer. We received 5 applications for that. We're going to try to conduct those interviews next week, and then hopefully have someone in place by June 1st, if not before. So just FYI.
Okay, good, all right.
Shall we toast you with champagne?
Cassie and Sharon. Cassie and Sharon.
No offense, Ken.
Welcome to your new position.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Glad to have you.
All right, gentlemen, if we don't have anything else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
All right.